May 28, 1998, the mountains of Chagai trembled, and so did the balance of power in South Asia. But behind this thunder was a decades-long silence of fear, ambition, betrayal, and resilience. This is the untold journey of how Pakistan became a nuclear power, not for pride, but for survival. The year was 1974. India tested its first nuclear bomb and called it a peaceful nuclear explosion. But for Pakistan, it was anything but peaceful. It was a message, loud and clear. We can destroy you if we choose to. And in that moment, everything changed. Pakistan, still nursing wounds from the 1971 war and the painful loss of East Pakistan, realized it stood exposed, militarily, politically, existentially. Then came Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's thunderous declaration: if India builds the bomb, we will eat grass, even go hungry, but we will get one of our own.
It would indicate that we have already succumbed to the threat. This would be disastrous for our national determination to maintain the fullness of our independence. Let me make it clear that we are determined not to be intimidated by this threat. I give a solemn pledge to all my countrymen that we will never let Pakistan be a victim of nuclear blackmail. This means not only that we will never surrender our rights or claims because of India's nuclear status, but also that we will not be deflected from our policies by this fateful development.
It wasn't desperation. It was determination, raw, defiant, and absolute. They called it impossible. A poor, developing country with no vast industrial base, no elite technology, and barely any international support. How could it ever build the bomb? But what they underestimated was the will of a nation cornered by history. Behind closed doors, in hidden labs and quiet corridors, a silent revolution began. In the 1970s, while the world watched the Cold War powers, Pakistan's dream was taking root. Not in the limelight, but in the shadows. It wasn't about dominance. It was about survival. When Dr. Abdul Qadeer Khan, a metallurgist with deep knowledge of uranium enrichment, returned to Pakistan, he didn't come with just expertise. He came with a mission. Under his leadership, a secret city of science rose in Calcutta, a place where machines hummed day and night, where young scientists worked with limited equipment, under tight surveillance, knowing that discovery wasn't just about physics. It was about protecting 200 million dreams. They were isolated. They were hunted by global intelligence agencies. They faced sanctions, surveillance, even betrayal. But still, they worked. Blueprints were drawn on candlelit desks, equations scribbled in the margins of borrowed books, devices built from scrap and salvaged steel. For every door that the world slammed shut, Pakistan carved a new path, with grit, with sacrifice, and with fire in its soul. It was a race not for power, but for existence. And in that race, failure was not an option. Then came May 1998. India lit up the desert with fire. 5 nuclear tests in Pokhran. The world applauded. But in Pakistan, a storm was rising. The nation held its breath. TV screens buzzed with breaking news, and people began asking, Will we respond or remain silent? Inside military bunkers and political chambers, debates raged. Should we retaliate and risk economic collapse, or stay quiet and accept second-class status forever? The answer came not from generals, but from the hearts of the people. Pakistan was no longer willing to be bullied. May 28, 1998. The sun burned bright over the Chagai Hills of Balochistan. At exactly 3:16 p.m., the ground shook, not from an earthquake, but from history being rewritten. 6 nuclear devices, buried deep beneath the earth, exploded with a fury that echoed through every corner of the world. The mountains turned white. The sky held its breath, and Pakistan roared. It was not a display of power. It was a declaration of survival. But the choice wasn't easy. U.S. President Bill Clinton called Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif multiple times, pleading for restraint. Billions in aid were offered. Threats whispered. But Nawaz Sharif finally said, "I had no choice. The nation demanded it. History demanded it." And with that, Pakistan became the 7th nuclear power in the world, and the first in the Muslim world. The world reacted, not with congratulations, but condemnation.
We followed the same experiments conducted by India, but still the situation is very complicated. We regret very much that the capitals of these two countries haven't decided to hear attentively to all the messages sent to them from different countries.
But to be realistic, I do not see there is any real chance to disarm them from the nuclear weapons.
Sanctions were slammed. Trade was frozen. Pakistan's economy, already fragile, took a massive blow.
First, I deplore the decision. By failing to exercise restraint and responding to the Indian test, Pakistan lost a truly priceless opportunity to strengthen its own security, to improve its political standing in the eyes of the world. And although Pakistan was not the first to test, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I have made it clear to the leaders of Pakistan that we have no choice but to impose sanctions pursuant to the Glenn Amendment, as is required by law.
But something incredible happened. Instead of fear, the nation felt pride. For the first time, Pakistanis felt secure, truly secure. May 28th became Youm-e-Takbeer, the day of greatness, a reminder that even under pressure, a nation can rise. Sanctions couldn't stop the momentum. Pakistan didn't just build bombs, it built a system. It developed missiles, Gauri, Shaheen, Babur. It built storage facilities, command and control systems, and rigorous safety protocols. It wasn't about aggression. It was about credible deterrence, a shield, not a sword. Pakistan refined its doctrine, minimum credible deterrence, just enough to protect, never to provoke. While the world doubted, Pakistan remained disciplined. Not a single accident, not a single rogue incident. Even critics began to call Pakistan a responsible nuclear power.
This wasn't just a technological journey. It was a journey of survival, of a nation that had seen partition, war, betrayal, and isolation, yet chose to rise, not to threaten, but to ensure it would never be threatened again. The bomb was built in silence, but its echo will live forever in the heart of every Pakistani. This is the story of how Pakistan lit a nuclear fire, not to burn the world, but to protect its future. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you proud, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because more powerful stories from history and technology are on their way.